You can give it to him. Just ask him, can you put it on the desk? Or just let him know. Wait a minute. No, 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 no. Leave it in there. Okay, here we go again. We gonna try to see what happens and see where we moving and grooving and doing how we doing it. Welcome to People to People with Rodney Grimes. Let me tell you something. It is amazing when we are reflecting on things going on around us, looking at our reactions, how things are happening. We've been making changes. We're trying to make things, a lot better for the audience, and it's a growing process. When we was on the Man in the Mirror the other day, we was talking about all the changes and the things that's required. Excuse me, to do a podcast and to come to the people and make things happen. So pretty much this is what's going on. Yo, we are reflecting on the things that we do, reflecting on our actions. I want to get right into it. Everybody's been talking about this, and the reason why I'm going to talk about it is not so much to bring the attention to Will Smith and what happened with Will Smith and Chris, but I want to talk about the actions, the actions that took place, how it reflects, what does it do to us as an individual, and what does it cause you to think about. So for everybody that's tuning in, this is People to People with Rodney Grimes. I thank everybody for their patience. This is a networking podcast for the people, trying to empower us with positive thinking, changing the way we live in, changing the way we're doing things, building good relationships, supporting businesses, supporting each other. It's really, really important that we do that. So for everybody that's tuning in, I send you peace and blessings. And for those that was with us a little earlier and we dropped out and we back in, hey, yo, hang in there with us because it's a lot going on. The topic today is our reflection, and it's our personal reflection that really is important. How we reflect on the things that we're doing, and so even you know what, I was going to really pull this on my own. I want to see Christy. Mm-hmm. Why don't you come in and sit in with me? So y'all gotta excuse me if y'all see Christy with her flip flops on and stuff. Don't pay no attention to her. But I don't know if they can see him or not. But anyway, I told you, Christy didn't come in ready to get in today. But Christy is always right there, reflecting on things that's going on. So the topic today is our reflection. So I'm reason why I wanted, because I want to kind of get some other point of views. I want people to call in. If you can join in on the conversation, is 703-752-6120. Is 703-752-6120.
Yep.
Now, I want you to really think about reflection, right? Because what we do, it plays a big part in how people receive us, right?
Yes.
So, now, I'm gonna jumpstart this for a minute, but I want you to jump in. So, I was thinking about when Will Smith went up and smacked Chris, and Chris, he didn't really do anything about it, but he really did. What he did he became more of a man than Will, reflecting on what happened. So, me personally, I start to think about what is it that was going on and how we are reacting and how we reflecting our image, how are we dealing with people and things like that. And so, I know it's important for us. Y'all gotta excuse me, but it's important for us to really look at everything that's going on with us and how we are responding to things going on around us.
Mm-hmm.
What did that situation do for you? How did it affect you?
Well, I'm still in shock that even happened. I'm proud of Chris not taking it to the next level because, again, there's always an issue with violence with the minorities, and they say we don't know how to carry ourselves, and then, we don't get to get awards, and everybody's trying to boycott things, and they're saying, well, the blacks, we shouldn't go. And then look at how we're acting. I know Will doesn't really represent every black man, but then again, he does. He didn't ask to be in the spotlight, but then again, he is famous and he is in the spotlight. And he's a role model for many, many, many. And so is Chris Rock. So it shows us that there's a choice. There's a choice on how you want to react to things. And also there's a choice on how you reflect on things. So as Chris apologized publicly, I'm still behind in the times, but I still yet have heard or anybody say anything about an apology publicly from
Will.
From Will.
No, he did.
He did apologize publicly?
He actually wrote an apology. He did apology. He apologized even to Chris now.
It took him some time, but then again, maybe he needed his time also to have his self-reflection.
He had to reflect.
So,
he had to reflect on his action. He had to reflect on the situation. He had to really look at what took place. And that's what the topic is today. It's not really about Chris and Will. I just used that as an
That's
example.
a really good example because everybody has their time in reflection and no judgment. Some people can reflect quickly and some people need that time to process.
Right. And that's important. So we're talking about reflection on everything in our homes, in our relationships, business-wise, how we network with one another. It's really important how we reflect on things, and what's if you don't reflect and think about it, then you have the tendency to lose contact, I believe. Mm-hmm. Because I'm sure that, I don't know if you heard, but Will, he resigned from the movie awards thing now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he did that, which he should have because they was going to put him out anyway.
Okay.
I was reflecting on the relationship. Now, let's go somewhere else. I'm going to go somewhere else. Mm-hmm. Reflecting on how men portray themselves. I think about, what's this called, the Atlantic Housewives?
Oh, yeah, I love that show. I haven't watched it in a while. Housewives of Atlanta.
Housewives of Atlanta.
It's been a minute, but
hey, Lady Z, pull your mic down, too, just in case you want to chime in. You can. Even though you're not on camera, but you can chime in. Okay, I have a problem. I reflect on that, too. Mm-hmm. I have a problem with the image.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so when you look at that, as we represent ourselves, and we reflect on the whole world and how they perceive us, these women on there cussing, calling each other out their names, and I'm talking gorgeous black queens, right? And they on there acting like that. That gives a bad image.
It does. However, I love playing devil's advocate. It's entertainment. Just like when reality TV first started with the MTV, I forgot, The Real or something. It was just reality TV. It's just entertainment. Those ladies also do a lot for the community and raise money and look out for society. I mean, yes, they look horrible sometimes on TV. However, we get to remember If we choose, we can watch them with no judgment and just enjoy the entertainment.
The entertainment of somebody calling another woman a B, or throwing wine in their face. See, where I reflect back on where we are today in society. Why are we have to be entertained with violence? Why do we have to be entertained with negativity? Why can't we be entertained with love and compassion
and respect?
That's
And
right.
Respect for one another.
So here's
as
what
well.
gets to happen. If people don't watch it, it won't air.
Okay, well, you know what? I honestly, me personally, I would rather my granddaughter and my daughters to see some strong, positive black females showing them how to act like ladies than instead of them on there cussing and throwing wine in each other's face.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, let me tell you something. It's not just the blacks, though. Because I've seen on some of the jerseys and some of the other ones.
Southern Charm. That's the other one I used to watch.
I mean,
yep.
a lot of them, you know, even on the white.
That one's white.
What you call reality shows. You know, they be on there fighting and
drinking.
And you know, doing some real foul things. But when I reflect back on what are we doing in the community? What are we doing as a people? What are we doing to change this? For many of us out there, it's very, very important for us to reflect on our actions. What are we exposing ourselves to? Reflect on this. How do you feel with over the last couple of years that you haven't really been able to hug somebody or to walk up and kiss them or to shake their hand? We gotten to the point where we're starting to lose that desire for the physical touch. We got to the point, where we are really having a problem communicating.
Yep.
When we reflect back on what's going on, we need to now take time to make some adjustments.
Yes.
I mean, am I my brother's keeper? You got something for me, Lady Z?
Yeah, Rachel says some people love drama, and that makes the network money.
Yeah, well, that's because when the network, if that's all they're giving, I got a lot of people that probably don't watch this because constantly all we doing is trying to give positive information. We're trying to give positive energy, but I refuse. If I just got 1, 2, 3 people watching, okay. If that makes them happy and that's giving them a sense of joy and a sense of love and connection, I'm okay with that. I don't want nobody on here. I don't want to put you in that seat and say, yo, B, what's up with you?
Right.
You feel me? Yeah. And you don't want to be looking at me and using the N-word or vice versa. You know, I call you a queen. I treat you with respect. I treat you with love. You know, this is where we need to get back to. We gotten to the point that we make everything all about sex, drugs, and killing. And now I'm gonna reflect on something. I'm trying to stir you up a little bit, so don't get.
All right, go ahead.
Just come on and jump in here with me.
Okay.
I be watching the Cowboys and the Indians. I reflect on how we projected it. Why most of the time when I see a pure blood Indian, or I see somebody that I can tell that they got a lot of Indian in them, that I start to think about them being called savages and them scalping people and all that. But had you ever looked at their culture, their beautiful dancing and their spirituality, the things that they did, how they came and was able to nurture the earth?
Yes, they're very spiritual.
Yeah.
Native Americans are very spiritual and loving and neglected. Their culture has been neglected. You know, I have not heard many people stick up and talk about them. I mean, we talk for our our culture, but their culture is really just skipped over still. And I think like a lot of them are still, I guess, hanging out in Arizona area. I know there's a lot of spiritual places in Arizona that's, in my opinion, that are still like holy for them. Like they really prayed over those grounds. And a lot of people take trips over there to just for rest and spirituality and for grounding. So, yeah, the Native Americans had it hard, and they're still respectful to each other, and they're still respectful to us. They could be bitter and still, fighting us, but they're not.
because they reflect on who they are.
Yeah.
They reflect on the grassroots of what their intentions and how they were. I said that because what I'm trying to think about is for somebody out there that's having some type of issue they're trying to deal with. Look at your actions and reflect on that. Look at what's going on. I was with some very, very nice people over the weekend, and I reflect on how they responded to me and my wife, how they was real receptive to us, and I enjoyed that. And not all of us was the same skin tone.
That's
Not all
beautiful.
of us had the same kind of hair. Not all of us had the same style. Not all of us was living in the same luxurious places. But we was able to communicate and network and show love. That's what we need to reflect on. We need to reflect
Absolutely.
on because let me tell you something. I'm starting to think that what's going on, we got some aliens going on around here. Because I can't understand we not wanting to love each other.
I know. And then the COVID situation has made it difficult as well. I feel like people have forgotten how.
Yeah.
And these poor little ones,
They suffering.
they don't know.
I had my granddaughter the other day, and my granddaughter, she's more into this aggressiveness of it's about me. When I grew up, it was about respect. It was about love. I used to love being around my grandparents because I used to look at the family structure and the things that they were sharing with one another. I never saw my grandparents argue before. I never did. I knew I used to hear my grandmother call my grandfather, my grandfather named John Shepherd, right? And she'd say, Shep, behave yourself, because he might be fussing at us, the grandkids running or whatever. But they never went back and forth. And I saw my grandfather to be a very, very powerful, strong man. And my grandfather was born in 1900, so my grandfather got to see a lot of negative things done. And I used to listen to him in his conversation as he would reflect on his past. And I was like, man, why my grandfather was so mad at white people? I wanted to know that. Why was he so mad at them? But as he shared conversation with me, I started to understand. But then as I started to grow and become an adult, I started having relationships with all different type of individuals, white, black, Hispanic, Indians, Asians. I start to realize as I start to reflect on the cultures, we different, but we're really the same.
We really are. And you know what? Love is everything. Love is every religion and every color.
Love is the one thing that we all can understand. You don't understand when somebody be real mean to you. You don't understand it. You're looking at, what did I do to that person? Why is this person? We done got to the point that we literally have forgotten how to look at each other, and show love. For everybody out there, let me tell y'all what's going on. Here at People to People, we're actually the People Podcast. We're looking to network and move into areas that's going to really, really take the DMV on a whole different platform. And the reason why I say the DMV, I wanted anybody all over the world can call in. You can call in 703-752-6120. I don't care if you're in Tucalo, Mississippi. You could be in Miami, wherever. Yes, you can be a part of the conversation, but I'm talking about the DMV right now. I'm reflecting on how we treat each other. How is it that, I noticed that most of the people are nicer when they're drunk.
Oh yeah. I've heard stories of actually wives getting their husbands drunk because they're just easier to deal with. Girlfriends, they just do it because it's like no more fussing.
Or they can easier to control, or they'll fall out or whatever. But when you reflect on the results on things, some of these things we got to be careful about
Very
how
careful.
we do it and what's going on. I just want to say that look at your actions, look at your relationships. Many people that we are so quick to pass judgment, but we don't want to look at ourselves in the mirror. And if you look on the flyer, I have myself in a mirror where I'm reflecting on Rodney. So let me tell you what happened. I was having a conversation with somebody, and they revealed to me that they was emotionally moved, not in a real good way, of something that didn't happen.
Okay.
I reflected on it, thought about it, and realized I shouldn't really feel bad because I really didn't do anything intentionally to hurt anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the negative energy that started to develop in that, as I reflected on it, I realized, guess what? It wasn't necessary for me to go on a negative rampage or go into a negative way with this whole situation. And when we do that and we look at ourselves, it helps us to start to understand our actions.
Yes. I have a question.
Go ahead.
So when that person, I'm assuming, I should ask, was that person triggered, would we say? Well, because of maybe what you said reminded them of something. Did they snap on you, or did they just have a negative energy when the comment was made?
Well, I didn't really make a comment. It was on an emotion that they was dealing with. It was something that
They were working on.
something that it didn't go the way that they wanted it to, and they assumed.
Oh, okay.
They assumed. And I'm going to tell you another reason why I used the word reflection, because I think that the person reflected on what was going on and thought about it. We got a caller calling in. Let's get that caller. Callers, please state your name and where you're calling from, please.
This is Katrina, and I'm calling from the Washington, D.C. area.
Hello, Katrina. How you doing, Prophet?
Hi, Katrina.
I'm doing well. I'm really enjoying the subject tonight. And so as you begin to speak, I was hearing the situation about Will Smith.
Okay.
And how, may I speak?
You can speak.
Okay. How many people are so cloudy in their judgment against him. But I am so astonished to remember when they took the woman to Jesus with adultery. They said she was caught in the act. And Jesus said, he without sin cast the first stone. Mm-hmm. We all have done some things in our lives that we are not proud of. I don't care if it's exposed openly or inwardly. And the fact of the matter, when we look at ourselves and concentrate on ourselves, then we can pray for Will Smith. I mean, people just keep talking about it like they can do something about it. But God said, no, look at yourself in the mirror.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What have you done? So I just wanted to make a point with that.
Well, no, you know what, and I'm glad you did. Because I used it as an example based on the fact that I looked at it from both perspectives, both sides. First of all, yes, I'm a little disappointed in Will Smith's actions, but I don't know what was going on in his mind. I don't know what caused, because normally he's a real good guy. Normally, that's the way I saw him. Mm-hmm. Okay, as I reflect on the actions, I realized that I needed to concentrate on what I do, so that I don't have to go back and apologize, so that I don't step across the line and do some things that I'm going to regret. That's going to affect a lot of people. So I understand what you were saying. You know, we got to be conscious about how we talk about somebody else when they do something wrong, because we all have done things wrong.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And what is
absolutely? And then another thing I want to bring up about the fans. Oh, we was Will Smith fans. Y'all was a fan. You were never a fan, because if you was truly a fan, you would ride it out. You would be ride or die. You would not be talking about somebody you had great respect for. You would put them at the altar and ask God to help them. That's why I appreciate Denzel Washington. They saying he's selling out. He ain't selling out. God is working in him. God is working in Will. Yes, the spirit of disarray or discord, whatever came upon him, that was a spirit spirit that did that. That we don't wrestle against flesh and blood, and people don't realize that. But I tell them in a minute, don't come this way with that. If you're not talking anything that can help him, I don't want to talk about the slap, because Chris Rock ain't really talking about it.
Right.
And that's right. And that's understand. Let me clarify. My purpose for bringing this up was it caused me to reflect on myself. This wasn't.
Right.
I'm not passing judgment on Will. I ain't passing it on Chris. I'm telling you, I know what it did for me. Mm-hmm. I know it as a man. One, I have to try to be. What is it says is how they say be slow to anger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, swift to hear, slow to speak, and slow to anger in the book of James. I got you.
Right.
And also says doesn't it say take the speck out of your own eye, or take the plank out of your eye before you take the speck out of another?
Yes, and that is a big issue, Rodney, that needs to be talked about, especially with the black race, because the black race is really condemning him. The black race is really burying him, and he's not even dead.
Well,
and it does not make sense. Look at Marion Barry. Look at the one who was caught, the president that was caught with Monica. You know what I'm saying? These things, this stuff happens in life.
Mm-hmm. We human. And that's true. And Prophet, I'm glad that you said that and you bringing this up, because we all got to realize we all make mistakes. But when we reflect on these situations, we should grow from them and understand that our actions causes a reaction.
Yes.
The things that we do affect other people.
Yeah.
Yes.
So me, personally, I'm just speaking from me. It broke my heart for me to see two men of my culture in a position where they were being violent, or it was violence involved, when we were supposed to stand up and be proud and say, yo, we are just as good as any and everybody else. I don't want us to get to the position where, yo, I know we make mistakes. I've made many in my life. But one of the things we have to do, we have to all take the time to reflect on how we're treating each other.
Yes.
How we talk about one another, how we walk up to people. We've gotten to the point now, man. I'm telling you, it's like you can look at somebody and you don't even want to speak to them because we done almost forgot how to hug a person.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
We got to get back to the grassroots of things. You don't want to judge nobody if you don't want to be judged.
Right.
That's it.
So me personally, that was part of the reason why I titled this conversation today, our personal reflection. Look in your mirror.
Yes.
Look in the mirror. Look at yourself. How many of us make mistakes? Now, what am I doing? I when I brought Will up, because let me tell you something. I heard that he apologized, but I can honestly tell you this. I don't care with nobody whether they believe it or not. You know what I did? I prayed for him. I said, God, whatever it is, because what took place through that whole process, as we go back and reflect on what happened, that what you said that was, Prophet?
A spirit.
A spirit.
Mm-hmm.
But the Oscars don't know nothing about no spirit. But guess what? We that do know about the spirit, we should have been praying, because we know that wasn't Will. Even his own mother said that.
Yes, she did. I heard that. I heard that.
And I did see a lot of people getting on the bandwagon. They gonna have T-shirts and everything with their face in a slap. They gonna make money off of this, but this is not funny, and nor is this is something that we need to be making money off. But see, that's just where people's mindsets are. Their mindset is in the wrong place, and some women slap men all the time, and some men slap women, and you mean to tell me because he did it in national TV? Oh, please, let me tell you something. It needs to be exposed. It's a lot of mess that's going on with them stars that needs to be exposed.
Well, that's why, here at People to People, we try to deal with the individuals who on a daily basis are dealing with,
everyday.
their everyday situations. where we go into a grocery store and your own people won't smile at you. You go into the doctor's office and the doctor, you're afraid to tell him that you're hurting because he act like, you bothering him when, he's supposed to be there to help you. When you go home and your husband don't come in and say good evening to his wife or vice versa, or the sister and brothers are not showing respect to one another, or the children are disrespecting. We all need to reflect on
Our
what's going on.
behaviors. We need to reflect on our behaviors.
Yes.
We do. I
We
just want to share that.
say that again, Chrissy.
We get to reflect on our behaviors.
Yes.
I would like to provide a tool that will help us to
What's that?
support us on that.
Okay, what's that?
It's recognizing your triggers and being able to communicate that with your loved ones.
And that's important.
And then how to filter through it.
You know what? Isn't that something? Yeah. People trigger things. And believe it or not, for some of the things that happen with me, I have triggers. I learned how to start to identify them.
That's wonderful.
And so that helps me.
Less
Prophet
arguments.
Yes.
First of all, again, you always very direct, and we appreciate your comments. You're a very, very powerful praying individual, and I'm just asking you continue to keep praying for me, number one, but pray for all of us that that we start to really get back to the understand that we can be neighbors. And I was talking to some people. You can grow corn. I can make the bread. Prophet Katrina, she can grow the lettuce. Zena can get the potatoes. Baby girl, she can get the onions. And whoever down the street can have the water and all that. And somebody, we got all this stuff, and then we got another person. What they have, the pot. They put it all in. And when we come together and we really do that, we end up with a real nice supper. That puts us into a very, very positive way of doing things. It's just amazing. I love you so much. I thank you, Prophet Katrina. You got anything else you want to bring up? Because let me tell you something. You always reflecting on things around us.
I know one thing. If I see somebody with a T-shirt and got Will and Chris Rock on there talking about slap me, I'm gonna really slap him in the name of Jesus. In the name of Jesus, I'm not gonna really slap him. I'm just gonna slap him in prayer because I can see it. It's gonna be all summer hats and everything. Slap me. They're gonna make money, mega money off of this. And guess what? It's not even funny. You see how they take something to try to make money, anything and everything. Just making money, and we don't even see this. And ones that's working hard like you, Rodney, like your wife, struggling to keep, the studio and everything else going. But if y'all go out and act like a fool or a Lady Z dressed like a harlot, hey, guess what? Be throwing money at her.
I know.
Shouldn't have to be that way. We shouldn't have to be that way.
It's true. That's what really when I was just reflecting on what's going on and where we are. We got to change. Christy, you said that when I was talking about the women of what's that, Atlanta Housewives, right?
Housewives of Atlanta.
Hey, so hey, Prophet Katrina, how do you feel about that? Have you ever watched the program Housewives of Atlanta? Yes, I have. So what's your take on that?
The Housewives of Atlanta is just a lot of them are hurting. You know what I'm saying? And then a lot of them are hiding behind a dollar bill. And a lot of them, their stories are real. I mean, really real. It goes deeper than what we see. But they choose not to share that. So when I have watched that, I kind of just zoom in on the pain and the hurt of the woman and just trying to survive. That's what I look at it. They're trying to survive.
Mm-hmm. It's just their money.
But I mean, do you think that when we portray these things that that's how we really, teaching our young people how to respond? You think that's okay?
No, it's not okay. It's not okay. It's not even real. They call it reality.
Yeah,
it's not real. They're only telling us surface stuff.
And you teach your children that. You teach your children
Yeah,
this is entertainment. It's not real.
It's not even real. A lot of them people are hurt. A lot of them people got a lot of pain in them. That's how I looked at Will. Will have a lot of pain, but it's come way back from his past, his childhood.
No, I agree. I'm going to tell you, believe me, when I go back to my childhood, many times I shed a tear. When I go back to my childhood, I can think about some of the things that I've done, where I done slapped somebody and it was wrong,
Right.
I thought about an incident. I'm not going to go into detail, but somebody I care about got punished, right? And the person who punished them, I punished that person before. And I realized when they told me how they did it, it was the way that I punished them, if you can follow me on that.
I know. I understand.
I didn't like that when I reflected on it. We got to go back, and we got to really become conscious of how we treat each other. And what is it that we do to make a difference?
Yeah. And go back to your childhood hurts and reflect on that. See your reflection as a child.
You said, and also understand your triggers.
And understand your triggers. It's a process. So once you understand that, your hurts and your triggers and how to filter through the triggers, it's not enough to just know your triggers. You get to go further with that.
Hey, don't go nowhere, Prophet. Hey, Zena, I need you to pull a mic to you for a minute, because I'm getting ready to say something to her that I just want to ask her, because you said a trigger, right? So, Zena, you and I don't know if it was yesterday or the day, but we was kind of playing around back and forth, and I told you to shut up. That was a trigger. What did that do? How did that affect you?
It offended me. I thought it was disrespectful.
But because we was kind of playing.
We were playing. We were actually playing, going back and forth, just messing with each other. And then I guess I took it serious when you said it, because I don't like to hear that. I don't like to hear people tell people
and I
to shut
understood
up.
that. So the reason why I wanted to say that, because I know how you are when I say that. That was her trigger. You said identify a trigger, right? I know that that's a trigger for her.
Yeah, and that takes it to a whole nother situation. That's why it's important to filter through the triggers, because once you're triggered and once you react, it gives that other person actually the power. And it also leads into a whole nother thing about narcissist relationships and other things that possibly could be going on. So that's why I always feel like it's important to have your power and to know your triggers, and to keep your composure once you're able to filter through.
Right.
Because once you release whatever you're feeling, it's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It just uncovers that, you get to work on that a little more. But also kind of it gives up a little bit of your power to the other person, because they know now, let me dig further in that. And let me when I want to hurt that person, not all the time intentionally, but just in relationships, we get to be loving and be honest with each other's triggers. And then we get to lovingly support each other and no, don't go there.
Because, again, that was something. So, are you still there, Prophet?
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay.
I also heard her use the word process. I often hear that word a lot. I mean, a lot. A process is taking steps in order to achieve a particular end. I say not process,
journey,
but the plan. But the plan of the movement.
Yep.
Because a process can make you step back. And I hear not only on segments like this, but I hear it in the church. It's a process. It's a business. It's this, it's that. But listen, it's a plan. Your whole life was planned out before you were even born. And people don't understand that. And until we understand, yes, the triggers are number one. We know what triggers people. And sometimes we say things just to see them react. said for all of us. It's in Jeremiah 29:11. Until the process becomes the plan, you're going to stay right where you are. You got to get under the plan. What is the plan? Where is the destiny? Where is the light in this dark tunnel? I've been trying to do this thing. I just said to the God the other day, I've been in this storm for too long. But guess what? I'm not giving up.
Well, I'm one that's I reflect on my actions. I think about what I do, how I respond to people, and for everybody that tuned in today, that's is our topic today is our personal reflection.
Yes.
And we thank the prophet Katrina who called in, who's now on the phone with us, who always talk about the reflection. She don't use that terminology, but she always talk about, how we treat each other, praying for one another, not being judgmental.
Yes.
And it's important that we do that. And for everybody out there that's going to see this program, get to a point where you go back and look in the mirror. Go look at yourself. See what you could have done different. Pay attention to your triggers. And would you say don't use the word process?
It's a plan.
No. I wouldn't say don't use the word process. I just think the word process, it comes, but then you have to master the plan. Mm-hmm. Because you use the word, a lot of people use the word process to stay where they are. Oh, I know it's a process. Oh, people that I deal with.
Yeah, that's not the way I meant it.
That's why when she said trigger and then process.
Process to me
okay,
is
and
a
I
filter.
get that. But then you have to go to the plan. What is the plan for your life? Why are you here?
And that's with all of us. Thank you, Prophet, for calling in. I love you. Keep us in prayer.
Love you too.
All right, thank you so much.
God bless you all. Okay, bye-bye.
For all of us out there, it is imperative that we take the time to reflect on our actions, reflect on things that happen around us. Let me tell you something. As I talked about that, and I used certain things as an example, because everybody was talking about Will and Chris. I want to say how I reflect when I look back on it. I looked at Chris Rock, because it ain't over yet. Because like the prophet said, people going to be wearing T-shirts and making a joke out of it. Mm-hmm. And they really need to let it go. You want to worry about something? Go back and look at some of them cowboy and Indian movies. See how many times do the Indians win. See how many times do the black man live to the end of the movie. You want to reflect on something? You want to think about something? Go back and think about how we had children that were being molested and stolen and sold. And we could talk about these things on different platforms and don't get ridiculed for it. You want to think about something, think about all this negativity that we put out in the street and in our families and in our businesses, in our neighborhoods. We need to reflect. We need to reflect on who we are, what we are, and how we're going to make changes. Because it's important. I tell you something. I am my brother's keeper. I am my sister's keeper. Only if they want to be kept. I reflect on those who say they don't want nothing to do with me, and so be it. You have that right. Mm-hmm. And we started about 10, 15 minutes late. We're going to run about 10, 15 minutes over, if you don't mind, Lady Z. Okay? So, again, I'm reflecting on a lot of things. I think this is something important for us to think about. Again, if there's anybody out there that want to call in, it's 703-752-6120, 703-752-6120. Also, reflect on that Cash App for the People to People podcast. Guess what? We are a nonprofit. We are a nonprofit organization. I can say that and feel confident now because we have legally become a nonprofit organization. And if you could make a donation, you can write it off. You need to call me and get the proper information so that you can be able to write off your donations. You can apply your donations to the $RG1960. We are in the process of making some major moves in our community. We're networking with some powerful people. I'm telling you, we got some real powerful people get ready to come on to the program that's going to be talking about how to build your business. Christy has been and she's kind of like laying in the cut because we've been working through some stuff. What's some of the things that you got coming up?
Well, I have my I can say Macmillan Soul Source.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay, I have my business Macmillan Soul Source, and I have a couple of workshops that are going to come up in the spring and in the summer, where we're going to talk about what do you want. So you get to reflect on getting a clear vision on what you want for yourself, as well as starting to soar after you get clarity.
Okay, and
And also I support mental health very strongly, and that's why I'm talking so passionately about triggers.
yeah. So here it is important for us. It's really important for us to reflect on our actions. But now let me tell you, at people to people, let me tell you what it is. It's people to people, power to power, positive thinking people. The people to people part, think about it. That's me, you, and them. I say this all the time. I break it down. Them, whoever you want them to be. The good, the bad, the ugly, the fat, the crazy, the thin, the little, the beautiful. Whoever you want them to be. But they are the people. And we really, really are so much more alike than we are different. The power we possess, the power we can use in good and bad. We can take a bad situation and turn it to good. This situation with Will Smith and Chris, let's take it and reflect on it. The things that we shouldn't do, the things that we don't want to do, the ways we don't want. I honestly believe that Will Smith is regretting what he done. I believe that if he could do it all over, he would go back and he would say, I am sorry. And he wouldn't walk up on the stage if he could just make like the movies and make it just go back in the rewind. I'm sure that he would. Right, without a doubt.
Yep.
But when we reflect on it, what happens? I mean, we start to see the reality of things. Things are not really where we want them to be and what it should be.
Right. And you know me, as a love coach, Christy Love, here on People to People, let's bring it back to love, folks. You know, it's about love. It's not about judgment. It's not about, you know, what you think he should do. It's not really, technically, it's not our business. I know we're taking it all political and all that stuff, but let's just love on each other and love on the brother and love. You know, why do we have to take it anywhere? We have enough issues in our own lives to reflect on, to be honest.
How about that? We do. Many of us. We got a lot of problems in our closet. We looking in somebody else's yard, and we got a lot of poo-poo in our own yard. I told somebody the other day, you better watch it when you look over there and see the grass is real green, and you take off running, talking about, oh, man, I want to go over there. They got beautiful grass. Well, what you ain't know, they got 5 dogs, too. And guess what? Them dogs be playing in the yard. And they leave little things around. You mess around and run in the grass if you want to. You know, you got something for me, Lady Z?
Yes, Katrina wants to know, why are people afraid of addressing mental health problems and issues?
Thank you. Thank you for asking.
But you know what? I have a lady that's getting ready to come on too. We setting this up. She's talking about mental health and different things.
But I'm going to answer her question. Is that okay?
No, go ahead.
You know why people are scared? Because for one, there's a stigma on it. If you have a mental health concern, you're crazy. Even if it's depression, you're crazy. Because people don't know about it. Because people are just now starting to talk about it. Because our parents' age, they didn't have therapists. Or I should say my grandparents' age. They didn't have therapists. So this is all very kind of still new as far as getting therapy, counseling, and coaching. So things that you don't know, you fear. And just because you're different, people are scared of. And then just because,
Baby girl. Go ahead.
And just because, like, there's things that are different, people are scared of. And also, there's roadblocks. So if you're bipolar, if you're schizophrenic, there's all these different roadblocks. And people are scared of that, of being different. Like, what? This is going to hinder my life. It doesn't have to. It's your journey. It literally is your journey and your pace. However you choose to live it. It's not something that blocks you unless you choose it to be. You can choose to embrace it and just talk about it freely. That's what I do. Because I love myself and because I love people and I want people to be safe. And it's important for me to be vulnerable if I'm going to save somebody else's life so they can understand that it's okay to be on a mental wellness journey. It looks different for everybody. And I think that's why people don't talk about it. It's just still new about people coming out and talking about it. And they're just scared. They need more examples to see that it's okay.
We as a people, as a black culture, we need to acknowledge the truth. A lot of us are suffering from mental health areas where we need to go and get counseling and help. What you got for me, Lady Z?
Katrina says I was speaking and someone texted me, Will Smith bank account is being attacked.
And you know what? I'm not surprised. Let me tell you something. We'll take any a situation and try to go all the way negative with it. We got to change that. You know how many people have tried to crucify us because they want to know what gives us the right to think that we're supposed to be the main hub in the DMV area, people to people. Why do we think that? Hey, look, let me tell you why. Because I got enough guts to get up here and do it.
Somebody has to.
Somebody has to do it.
And guess what? It's your assignment, so it's yours.
There you go. You're right. Because it ain't nothing easy about this.
This is your God-given assignment, so here you go. So if they want to take on their, they actually can't take your assignment because they have their own.
Right. That's something. I'm glad you said that. We're going to go for 5 more minutes, and we're going to be out of here. But listen, I like that you said that. You know what? If it's your assignment, you do what you got to do. But don't be a copycat. See, because if you're a copycat, what you'll find yourself is you'll be digging yourself a hole. Now, but if it's your assignment, you're going to find where you're going to be a blessing to many people.
You're always going to be a blessing because you're following the directions of God.
There you go. That's it. And let us not judge everybody. We all fall short of the perfect level of saying, I never make a mistake. That's not true. We all make mistakes. White, black, Asian, Mexicans, Indians, it don't matter.
How are we living and growing if we're not making mistakes?
You learn from them by reflecting on your actions.
Absolutely.
Everybody out there that's out there, listen, let me tell you something. We here, people to people, are looking to really bring that positive energy. I heard a guy on his podcast the other day, he was calling Jada the B word and he was calling the H word and all this stuff, and he was using the N word, and really he looked at to me, I ain't gonna lie. You say it's entertainment, right?
We're positive entertainment. We're powered, people to people, power to power.
We positive, right?
Positive thinking people, yes.
Why was I watching his?
To see what's going on, because we have to do our research as well.
But I'm reason why I'm saying that is because you said it was entertainment, right? I was intrigued with his negativity. I'm sorry to say it. I showed it to my wife.
You were in awe that somebody could be that ugly.
And he was so willing to talk like that. A couple of times I found myself laughing. But was I really laughing because it was funny?
Just
really?
Probably couldn't believe that.
I was laughing because it was sad. I was laughing because look at what we're doing. We have to make a change. We got to get more projects out here and more communities, volunteers and people doing community service that we are projecting positive energy.
Yes.
Positive love. I'm telling you, the way the human race acting right now, I be thinking that somebody that came from another planet and start putting negative pills in our water and some other things so that we'll stop loving each other. stop wanting to say how you doing. I don't know if they like that down south. Whoever the alien was must didn't go down south. Because when you go down south, they still
everybody say how you doing.
Everybody
like,
down there, they still down there. Yeah. I told my wife one time, I was like, yo, I look like one of your uncles or something? Because she said, why? I said, everybody's speaking. Mm-hmm. But we gotta change that. We gotta change that, and it's important for all of us. If it's anything that you want to bring to the table, remember, we're here at People to People. 1934, Old Gallows Road, Suite 304. Anytime you want to call in, 703-752-6120. Anytime you want to help the podcast and donate, we got another caller. Caller, state your name and where you calling from.
This is Godmother of PTP.
Hello there, Godmother. How you doing?
Hello, everybody.
Hi,
I was
Queen.
sitting lying here and listening to everybody. Everybody was giving true facts in every situation. But, Rodney, you were speaking concerning about the dog.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah.
I remember I was reflecting on that because I said, daggone it, he's thinking like I'm thinking. Let me call him real quick. Let me tell him about that story about that dog.
Go ahead.
It's a story that I shared on a radio show that I was on, and it was about reflecting. And the dog was on one side of the bridge, and he was real greedy. He decided to cross the bridge and go on the other side, somebody else's yard, and dug up the other dog's bone. So while he was crossing the bridge, he looked down below, saw a reflection of himself. And he looked and he got upset because that dog had his bone. And he started barking. Woof, woof. And he realized he dropped the bone he just stole. And he no longer have a bone anymore. And he went back with the tail up under his butt, all sad, because he should have stayed on his side, mind his own business, and kept the bone that he already had.
That's
still the deal right there.
That's exactly what we're dealing with. That's exactly it.
I love that. I mean, can you break that down, Godmother, a little bit, though? When you say that,
broke it down before I told the story.
Yeah, but you know what? It's so funny. The dog, when he saw the reflection, he didn't even realize he was looking at himself.
Exactly. I remember my art teacher in elementary school. She didn't have me studying everybody's artistry in the books and magazines and stuff, try to steal their way of doing artwork, right? Their artistry. She told me to focus on myself and have the Lord to guide me to come up with my own technique of doing things. And I normally would be doing so many things at one time, and then she put me in this makeshift studio to focus just on one thing and come up with my own technique. And I still have that pain today when I finally got it using the technique that the Lord blessed me with. But mind your own business and leave other folks alone. Just pray for them and love them and keep on going about your business, because you only have to answer to the Lord. And that's the bottom line.
That's true.
That's it.
And if we reflect on our actions and reflect on ourselves as we move forward, we will become so much better individuals when we reflect on sharing love.
Like Christy says about love.
It is.
Because God is love.
Yes,
God is love.
And everything else. He's the master of all things, above, below, and around. Well, and that's what we answer to. That's the bottom line.
Well, you know what? I hope that this program here, if somebody watches it, they got something out of it. Go back and reflect on your actions. Don't be that dog that's coming out his yard, going into somebody else's yard, and mess around and don't pay attention that the reflection that you'll see will be your own. You know, it's almost like this. Sometimes we paying so much attention to everybody else that our own shadow will scare us.
I was going to bring up something similar to that.
Right?
Yeah.
It'll be our own shadow that'll cause us to jump and run.
And can I add to that?
Go ahead.
Because it's about we are all energy, and we got different kind of energy. We are human being with energy to share with everybody. Now, the thing is, you heard the phrase, what goes around come around, right? So what you put out there is going to reflect back in so many ways.
Absolutely.
In a higher even level of energy coming back at you. So that's why you need to reflect on yourself to see what you're putting out. You can see it what's coming in. So as Katrina and I and all others, we believe in miracles and wonders, all the good stuff that the Lord has for us. Blessing. That's why I call it an uncommon lifestyle. No one will believe the things that we go through to be who we are.
Yes.
In spirit. And we all are spirit. People need to come to that conclusion. But we can't make them. We can teach them and show them. But it's up to them to gravitate to it and learn and apply it.
Well, believe it or not, that's what's going to happen. We thank you so much, Godmother, for calling in. We thank everybody that joined in. And it's People to People with Rodney Grimes. Thank you, Christy Love, for joining in today. Prophet Katrina. Lazy is in the house. We got Baby Girl on the board.
Thank you, Queen.
We just appreciate everybody. And just keep us in prayer. Remember, it's not about me. It's not about you. It's all about us. What? In God we trust. I'm telling you, it's important that we stay focused and do what we got to do to make a difference.
And check out your own reflection.
Check out what'd you say, Christy?
Check out your own reflection.
You got to look in the mirror, see what you see. How about that?
Don't forget to love on yourself.
Hey. You know what? Let me hug myself real quick. That feels good.
All right, you guys. It'll be on YouTube tomorrow. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.
How about that? That's right. And remember, it's not about me. It's not about you. It's all about us. People to people. Power to power.
Positive thinking people.